Welcome back to Who Died Today USA channel. In the past few days, we have received somber news about the passing of extraordinary talents. Today's episode is dedicated to honoring their memory. Additionally, we will recap the stars we have recently lost. Before we begin, we kindly ask for your support. If this video or the legacies of these remarkable individuals have touched your life, please consider giving this video a thumbs up as a sign of respect and remembrance. Thank you. Ed Arnold, who devoted 6 decades of his life to broadcasting in Southern California, passed away on Thursday, April 10th, 2025, after a long battle with heart disease. He was 86. The news was confirmed by his close friend, Bob Tarlow. Ed's passing leaves not only a profound void in the lives of his loved ones, but also in the hearts of millions of viewers who had come to trust and cherish his warm, reassuring voice on their television screens. Born with a deep passion for both sports and media, Ed pursued his education at Santa Ana College and later at California State University, Long Beach, where he played football and studied radio, television, and film. From his early days at small local radio stations, he gradually rose through the ranks, making his mark at KTLA, KABC, and KCET, working as an announcer, sportscaster, and news anchor. His voice also became familiar to audiences through religious programs and PBS SoCal's Real Orange, where he served as co-host and managing editor. Beyond his professional accomplishments, Ed Arnold made lasting contributions to education and community service. He served as president of the Santa Ana College Foundation, raising scholarship funds for student athletes. In recognition of his dedication, the college named its annual golf tournament the Ed Arnold Golf Classic in 2003. Alongside his beloved wife Dixie, longtime chair of the Liberal Studies Department at Vanguard University, the couple left a lasting legacy, honored through the naming of the university's Lyceum Theater. In his final years, declining health kept Ed from attending gatherings with the News Geezers, a group of veteran broadcasters he dearly loved. Yet, his spirit remained ever present. A symbol of integrity, dedication, and kindness, Ed Arnold was more than a broadcaster. He was a guiding voice and a cherished figure in Southern California's media landscape. Multi-talented artist, director, founding member of the legendary band Hudoo Gurus, and original member of the punk group XL Capri, Kimball Rendell passed away on April 20th, 2025, leaving a deep loss to music and film lovers. He was not only an artist, but also a talented filmmaker, a devoted husband and father, and a warm and loving friend to all who had the privilege of knowing him. Born in Sydney, Kimball began his artistic journey with XL Capri in 1978, bringing a fresh punk energy to the Australian music scene. A fateful meeting on New Year's Eve with Dave Faulkner in 1980 led to the birth of Hudoo Gurus, a band that would leave a lasting mark on the rock scene. Although he left before the release of their first single, Leilani, Kimball's contributions were incorporated into the song, and he remained closely involved with the band over the years. Kimball's creative talents were limitless. Outside of music, he made a huge impact as a director, working on blockbusters such as The Matrix Reloaded, I, Robot, and directing the 2000 horror film Cut, starring Molly Ringwald and Kylie Minogue. He also directed music videos for major Australian artists including Cold Chisel, The Angels, and of course Hudoo Gurus. Kimball lived a life filled with passion, creativity, and love. After the passing of his wife, renowned TV presenter Basia Bonkowski, in 2022, he continued to dedicate himself to his art. Just a few months ago, he was happily reunited on stage with the Gurus, his radiant smile reflecting his enduring love for music. His passing is a great loss, but his legacy of artistry and inspirational spirit will live on in the memories of those who admired and appreciated him.
Just bought the building, and there are now two, myself and Mimo Gordon-Riley on the other side.
The art world has lost a profound and poetic voice. Gretchen Dao Simpson, celebrated painter, photographer, and the creator of 58 iconic New Yorker magazine covers, passed away completely on April 11th at the age of 85. Her work, rooted in the geometry of everyday life and the quiet brilliance of light and shadow, offered not just images, but meditations on color, solitude, and the subtle power of abstraction. Gretchen was a 1961 graduate of the Rhode Island School of Design, and from the 1960s onward, she left an indelible mark across the American art landscape. As a freelance artist in cities like Boston, New York, Minneapolis, and Scranton, she brought a distinctive voice to the visual arts. From 1974 to 1993, her paintings graced the covers of The New Yorker, each one a whisper of calm and clarity in a noisy world. She later completed major commissions for the Atlantic Monthly, Absolute Vodka, and others, while also earning accolades such as the Pell Award and an honorary doctorate from Bryant University. What defines her work is the quiet intensity of her process, painting from her own photographs, distilling scenes into shapes, colors, and emotions. "If I've put down with paint what was the essence of the photograph," she once wrote, "then I know the painting will work for me." It was this personal bond with her subject matter that gave her art such honesty and such timeless allure. Gretchen leaves behind a loving family, including daughters, grandchildren, siblings, and her husband, James Baird. Although she is gone, the world she so tenderly captured lives on, in paint, in memory, and in the space between stillness and story.
We were all learning our jazz catechism, like people around our age. I'm slightly older.
Francis Davis, one of America's most eloquent and insightful jazz critics, has passed away at the age of 78 at his home in Philadelphia, following complications from emphysema and Parkinson's disease. A literary craftsman with an unerring ear, Davis devoted his life to exploring music's deeper meanings, not just in its notes, but in its echoes through culture, history, and identity. From his long-standing roles at the Village Voice, The Atlantic, and the Philadelphia Inquirer, to his emerging jazz criticism on Fresh Air with Terry Gross, who would later become his wife, Davis shaped how we listen to and understand jazz. He celebrated legends like Billie Holiday and Miles Davis with the same critical clarity he brought to contemporary figures like Wynton Marsalis. His Grammy-winning liner notes for Kind of Blue remains a testament to his ability to connect sound to soul, the technique to the timeless. Even though he never read music, Davis could unravel the emotional and societal threads woven into every phrase, every pause, every solo. He worried for jazz's place in a world increasingly distracted, yet he remained its most faithful interpreter, sharp-eyed, sometimes wry, but always deeply reverent. His books, including Outcats, Jazz and Its Discontents, and Like Young, capture the spirit of jazz with elegance and urgency. In one of his final essays, Davis mused with characteristic wit that perhaps he had outlived his usefulness. But the truth is, voices like his never lose value. They deepen, they endured. To honor Francis Davis and keep his legacy alive, we invite you to subscribe and turn on notifications, to continue listening, learning, and loving the music he so passionately championed.
All my black clothes, baby. I wanna wear.
In the golden tapestry of American music, few threads shimmer with the quiet brilliance of Mac Gaydens. The beloved Nashville guitarist, songwriter, and musical trailblazer passed away on Wednesday at the age of 83, following complications from Parkinson's disease. Revered for his artistry and humility alike, Gaydens' influence spanned generations, from uncredited but iconic riffs with Bob Dylan, to to the eternal romance of Everlasting Love, a song that continues to echo at weddings and in hearts around the world. Born in Nashville in 1941, Gaydon was a self-taught guitarist whose playing defied category. His innovative touch brought fire and finesse to millions of sessions, including Dylan's Blonde on Blonde, where his rhythmic magic on Absolutely Sweet Marie remained unsung for decades. Beyond country borders, he helped shape the sonic soul of Nashville, collaborating with Linda Ronstadt, J.J. Cale, and the Pointer Sisters, and renewing new soundscapes with bands like Area Code 615 and Barefoot Jerry. Everlasting Love, co-written with Buzz Cason, became Gaydon's most enduring masterpiece. First recorded in 1967 and revived across 4 decades by artists as varied as Carl Carlton and Gloria Estefan, the song remains a joyful testament to devotion, timeless, universal, and pure. McGaydon is survived by his wife of 51 years, Diane, 3 daughters, a son, and generations of musicians indebted to his sound. Although soft-spoken, his guitar sounds loudly, and that voice will never be silenced.
Who's no help at all.
All right, I'll do it.
Do what?
Help you rescue Princess Pee-Pee.
Today's spotlight shines on one of Hollywood's most charming and instantly recognizable faces, the one and only Owen Wilson. With his distinctive voice, laid-back wit, and heartfelt performances, he's captured the hearts of audiences around the world. But how do you feel about his work? On a scale from 0 to 10, what rating would you give his performances? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, because your opinions are a valued part of the conversation. Owen Cunningham Wilson was born on November 18, 1968, in Dallas, Texas. From a young age, he stood out for his vivid imagination and a natural knack for storytelling. Growing up in a lively household with brothers Luke and Andrew, Owen found humor in the everyday and quickly developed a taste for clever wordplay and offbeat ideas. Encouraged by his parents, Laura, a photographer, and Robert, an advertising executive, he nurtured every spark of curiosity, often escaping into the world of classic comedy and quirky cinema. At St. Mark's School of Texas, Owen balanced a mischievous streak with a voracious love for literature, a combination that laid the groundwork for his creative journey. After high school, Owen enrolled at the University of Texas at Austin, where he met Wes Anderson, a fellow dreamer with a matching sense of humor. Their partnership sparked with the creation of a short film that evolved into Bottle Rocket, a modest project that would launch both their careers. Owen's charm on screen and his skill at co-writing scripts hinted at a fresh comedic voice, one that married laid-back delivery with sharp, observational wit. The expanded version of Bottle Rocket, released in 1996, earned critical praise for its unconventional storytelling and introduced audiences to a comedic actor whose warmth and awkward grace felt refreshingly honest. Owen and Anderson continued their collaboration with celebrated projects like Rushmore and The Royal Tenenbaums, establishing a style that blended whimsy with emotional depth. Owen's soft-spoken charisma and slightly nasal drawl became his signature, endearing him to fans and critics alike. As Hollywood took notice, his career blossomed. He showed impressive range through mainstream hits like Shanghai Noon and Shanghai Nights, alongside Jackie Chan, where his cowboy banter met martial arts action in hilarious harmony. His role in Zoolander brought him further acclaim, proving he could thrive in even the most absurd comedic settings. The 2005 smash hit Wedding Crashers, co-starring Vince Vaughn, elevated Owen to leading man status in the comedy genre. He embodied the charming rogue with ease, delivering laughs laced with sincerity. Voice acting opportunities followed, including Pixar's beloved Lightning McQueen in the Cars franchise, expanding his appeal to family audiences. Yet with each performance, he remained grounded, carefully balancing his quirky charisma with subtle vulnerability, a blend that gave his roles emotional depth. Behind the scenes, Owen faced challenges that tested his resilience. The relentless pace of Hollywood took its toll, and he experienced periods of emotional turmoil that made headlines and stirred public concern. With courage and honesty, he sought help, gradually finding healing through therapy, close friendships, and quiet moments by the ocean. Surfing, meditation, and introspection became his tools for recovery, as he learned to prioritize mental wellness with the same care he gave his work. This experience deepened his empathy, making his performances richer and more layered. Physically, Owen also endured setbacks. The demands of physical comedy and action sequences often left him with injuries, and he began reevaluating how he approached his career. He adopted healthier habits, became more selective about roles, and paced himself more mindfully. These adjustments were not signs of retreat, but of wisdom, an acknowledgement that longevity in such a high-pressure industry required care and balance. Fans admired his candidness about health and well-being, appreciating his ability to remain authentic in a world obsessed with image. Owen also faced grief through the years, including the passing of his father, Robert. Though private by nature, he occasionally reflected on how these losses shaped his perspective, reminding him of the fragility and value of time. Rather than allowing sorrow to shadow his path, he channeled it into greater appreciation for the relationships that remained. He leaned into his roles as brother, friend, and father, finding joy in meaningful connections over industry accolades. His capacity to merge comedy with tenderness became especially apparent in films like Wonder, where he played a devoted father navigating the complexities of parenting a child with facial differences. The film highlighted Owen's ability to convey depth without sacrificing his trademark humor, showing that he could bridge the space between lighthearted and heartfelt with effortless grace. His evolving approach to acting revealed a performer no longer content with simple punchlines, but one willing to explore the entire spectrum of human experience. In recent years, Owen's portrayal of Mobius M. Mobius in Marvel's Loki series introduced him to a new generation of fans. Once again, his breezy warmth and understated intelligence shone through, offering a grounded counterbalance to the fantastical narrative. Off-screen, he remains a devoted father and a quiet philanthropist, supporting causes related to mental health, children's care, and the environment. He rarely seeks attention for these efforts, preferring instead to let his actions speak quietly and sincerely. Today, Owen Wilson stands as a testament to resilience, reinvention, and enduring charm. He continues to choose projects that resonate with him, embracing roles that allow for introspection as well as humor. Through the highs and lows, he's never lost sight of the imaginative spark that first set him apart, a spark that continues to light up screens and hearts alike. From the mischievous boy in Dallas to one of Hollywood's most beloved actors, Owen's journey is a celebration of authenticity, creativity, and the power of laughter to heal and connect.
Director, he's great. This is great. Of course, music to a director's ears to hear all this approbation, right?
Continuing its heartfelt tributes, the film world bids farewell to Ted Kachchiff, a prolific director whose work transcended genres and generations. He died on Thursday at the age of 94. The Globe and Mail and his longtime colleague Warren Leet, a former executive producer on Law & Order, SVU, confirmed. In recent years, Kachchiff had quietly battled age-related health challenges, including declining mobility and dementia, though he remained creatively active and deeply respected in the industry until his final days. Born in Toronto in 1931 to Bulgarian-Macedonian immigrant parents, Kachchiff's rise from a backstage worker at CBC to Canada's youngest television director was nothing short of remarkable. His early years in London exposed him to live theater and television, where he learned to move easily between drama, comedy, and social commentary. This versatility led to internationally acclaimed works such as Wake in Fright, 1971, which Martin Scorsese helped revive decades later, and the Canadian classic The Apprenticeship of Duddy Kravitz, 1974, which won the Golden Bear at Berlin and shaped the direction of Canadian cinema. His greatest commercial success came with First Blood, 1982, the film that introduced the world to John Rambo. However, Kachchiff refused to direct the sequels, disturbed by their tendency toward violence, citing his moral stance. This deep artistic integrity remained a hallmark of his career. He later translated that sensibility into his work as executive producer of Law and Order, SVU, where he helped launch more than 280 episodes and mentor a new generation of storytellers. Ted Kachchiff's legacy extends far beyond the screen. He was a director of vision, conscience, and quiet faith, a man who never chased fame, but let his stories speak for themselves. He is survived by his family and a body of work that continues to inspire.
That was my thinking, and I thought at that time when I wrote like 10 straight edge songs on the first record that
we bid farewell to Al Barile, the heart and soul of the legendary hardcore band SSD Control. Al Barile, the lead guitarist and co-founder of the emerging Boston hardcore band SSD, passed away on April 6, 2025, at the age of 63, after a courageous battle with colon cancer that began with his diagnosis in 2022. In his final moments, he was surrounded by his beloved wife, Nancy Barile, along with close friends and family. "No one was more truly themselves than Al," Nancy wrote in an emotional farewell, "and no one ever made me laugh more." A true icon of the hardcore and straight-edge movement, Al formed Society System D-Control in 1981. Their debut album, The Kids Will Have Their Say, 1982, became a defining record for a rebellious yet purposeful generation. Follow-up releases like Get It Away cemented SSD's influence and legacy, leading to their recent induction into the New England Music Hall of Fame in February. Al was not only a brilliant musician, but also a loyal friend, a devoted husband, and an enduring source of inspiration. After SSD, he continued his musical journey with the band Gauge, while also working as an engineer for General Electric, to his versatile talents and unwavering spirit. The passing of Al Barile is a profound loss for the hardcore community. Yet his fierce guitar sound and indomitable energy will forever live on in the hearts of music lovers everywhere. Subscribe and turn on notifications to honor his legacy and keep the spirit of a legend alive.
Inside, praise the Lord, I saw the light.
Tracy Schwarz, the last surviving member of the legendary New Lost City Ramblers, died March 29th in Elkins, West Virginia, at the age of 86. His death was confirmed by his wife, singer Virginia Hawker, who said he died peacefully in hospital care after battling an age-related illness. Though born in Manhattan and the son of an investment banker, Schwarz devoted his life to preserving the rustic, soulful sounds of the American rural South. Joining the New Lost City Ramblers in 1962, Schwarz breathed new life into a dying genre. Along with Mike Seeger and John Cohen, he didn't just perform. He revived and celebrated music from the past, from Appalachian ballads to fiddle tunes and railroad blues. Bob Dylan praised the trio in his memoir, describing their music as pure, poetic, and inspiring. With his fiddle in hand and his heart set on tradition, Schwarz ensured that the essence of a bygone era would never be forgotten. In addition to the Ramblers, Schwarz performed with his first wife and son in Tracy's family band, and later continued his journey with Virginia Hawker. Together, they released 2 beloved albums, Good Songs for Hard Times and Draw Closer. While much of his career was devoted to traditional songs, Schwarz was also a talented songwriter. His original Poor Old Dirt Farmer was recorded by Levon Helm and nominated for an Americana Music Association Award in 2008. Tracy Schwarz leaves behind a musical legacy that is both timeless and deeply human. His contributions spanned not just his recordings, but a life lived in humble devotion to the raw beauty of folk music. Like the songs he cherished, Schwarz was unpretentious, enduring, and deeply moving, a true guardian of America's musical soul.
I am singing underground in the subway stations.
Without stage lights or glittering fame, Alice Tan Ridley touched millions of hearts through pure passion and extraordinary resilience. She didn't need a spotlight to be seen. Her voice, filled with soul and strength, lit up the darkest corners underground. A devoted mother, a caring teacher, and ultimately a true artist, Alice lived a humble yet remarkable life that resonated far beyond the subway walls. Born in Lumpkin, Georgia, into a poor but musically rich family, Alice was raised on her mother's songs and her father's guitar playing. After moving to New York in the early 1970s, she worked as a special education teacher, raising 2 children on her own after her divorce. Through financial hardships and daily struggles, her dream of singing never faded. Choosing to sing in subway stations, which she lovingly called her underground theater, she brought joy and light to strangers rushing through their busy lives. In 2010, the world finally discovered Alice through America's Got Talent, where her powerful rendition of At Last moved audiences and judges alike. Although she only reached the semifinals, it was a turning point. She began performing around the globe and released her debut album Never Lost My Way at age 63. Yet, she returned to the subways, "Because that's where I feel most myself," she once said. Alice Tan Ridley passed away on March 25, 2025, in New York City, at the age of 72. Although the curtain has fallen, her voice still lingers, reminding us that you don't need fame to become a legend. You only need to live fully, love deeply, and sing wherever life places you.
Their exercise is cleaning their house, running after their kids.
With deep sorrow and heartfelt tributes pouring in, the beloved reality television personality Mama Mary Schmucker, best known for her warm presence on Breaking Amish and its spin-off Return to Amish, has passed away at the age of 65. Her son, Andrew Schmucker, confirmed that she died completely at her home in Pennsylvania on March 28th. Following a difficult 2-year battle with colon cancer. Her family revealed that she had been briefly hospitalized earlier in the week before returning home, where she was surrounded by loved ones. Mama Mary was diagnosed with colon cancer in 2022 and underwent surgery in April of that year, initially believing the disease had been successfully removed. However, just 2 months later, she was informed that the cancer had progressed to stage 3, eventually spreading throughout her body. In November 2024, her daughter-in-law, Rebecca Schmucker, shared with fans that Mary had entered hospice care and was struggling with intense pain and severe eating difficulties. As a central figure in Breaking Amish, which aired from 2012 to 2014 and returned to Amish, Mama Mary quickly won the hearts of audiences with her forgiving spirit, candid humor, and deep love for her family. Particularly her son Abe and daughter-in-law Rebecca, with whom she often shared the screen. Her authenticity made her a fan favorite, providing a rare glimpse into the complexities of life within and beyond Amish tradition. Although she has left the physical world, Mama Mary's legacy lives on through the love she shared, the lives she touched, and the strength she showed in her final days. She will be remembered not only for her role on television, but for her resilience, grace, and the profound warmth she brought to so many. Bob Davis, a former senior editor at the Wall Street Journal, leaves behind a profound journalistic legacy after nearly 4 decades of tireless service. He was more than just a reporter. He was a storyteller of global transformation, chronicling the great economic changes of our time. From the global financial crisis and the rise of populism in Latin America to the complex trade wars between the United States and China. Whether based in Washington, Beijing, Brussels, or São Paulo, Bob placed himself at the center of the most complex economic story in history. Co-authors of Superpower Showdown, 2020, Bob and journalist Ling Wei have delivered an unflinching account of the fierce economic competition between the world's 2 greatest powers. While based in China, 2011 to 2014, he ventured far beyond the polished streets of Beijing to document the real stories that shaped a changing nation and its growing influence on the global economy. A recipient of the Pulitzer Prize for International Reporting and the Raymond Clapper Award for Excellence in Washington Journalism, Bob was a symbol of integrity, insight, and intellectual rigor. He retired in 2021, closing a culminating chapter in a 39-year career that continues to inspire generations of reporters to pursue the truth with courage and insight. Bob Davis passed away after a short illness, the cause of which has not been publicly disclosed by his family. His passing marks a great loss to the field of journalism, but his resilient spirit, passion for discovery, and lifelong service to the public interest will live on as part of his lasting legacy. Bob Roop, the beloved bassist best known for his work with 1990s bands Cracker and the Silos. Roop passed away at the age of 68, as confirmed by his former bandmates via social media. While the exact cause of death has not been disclosed, his passing marks the end of a chapter in American alt-rock history, one defined by soul, precision, and understated brilliance. From 1994 to 1999, Roopy helped shape Cracker's sound during its commercial peak, forming a powerhouse rhythm section alongside drummer Charlie Quintana. His deep, driving bass lines were central to albums like The Golden Age and Gentleman's Blues, and his quiet wit and love for drag racing added to his memorable presence offstage. Before Cracker, Roop co-founded The Silos in 1985, a seminal roots rock outfit that earned critical acknowledgement and cultivated a dedicated following. He later became a member of Gutterball, a supergroup that included members of the Dream Syndicate and House of Freaks, and lent his talent to the haunting soundscapes of Sparklehorse in the late 1990s and early 2000s. Bob is survived by his mother, Carol, his siblings, Tom, Dan, and Kathy, and several nieces and nephews. His life, though quiet in public, was loud in legacy, filled with powerful collaborations, influential recordings, and a spirit that resonated through every note he played. He will be remembered as a cornerstone of his era and missed deeply by fans and peers alike. Amid a wave of heartfelt tributes from the artistic community, the passing of actor Biff Whiff, a man who brought gentle, authentic laughter to audiences for decades, has left a void that's hard to fill. He died at the age of 65 after a long battle with cancer. His management firm, Entertainment Lab, confirmed the sad news, stating, "Biff was a truly special person, and his loving energy was always felt by those around him." Though never a red carpet regular, Biff Whiff was a familiar and beloved face across countless television productions since the 1980s. He began his career with a small role in The New Gidget and gradually built a rich portfolio with appearances in series such as Night Court, Roseanne, Desperate Housewives, Brooklyn 99, and Grace and Frankie. With a humble, charming, and relatable acting style, he had a unique ability to make people laugh through the simplicity of everyday moments. His most cherished roles, however, came in the cult hit sketch comedy I Think You Should Leave by Tim Robinson. Memorable sketches like Shirt Brothers turned Biff into an unforgettable presence among fans of the show. Beyond the small screen, he also appeared in the Oscar-winning film Everything Everywhere All at Once, 2023, reaffirming his timeless talent. Biff Whiff's passing is a profound loss for the entertainment world. He was the embodiment of humility, resilience, and devotion, an artist who never needed the spotlight to leave a lasting impression. His legacy lives on not only through the roles he played, but also in the spirit of joy, kindness, and passion he brought to every performance.
Was it night? I think it was a Lotus. The car was a Lotus or something. And
Yeah, Lotus.
it was.
Richard Gere, A Life of Grace, Grit, and Global Purpose. Richard Tiffany Gere was born on August 31, 1949 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to Doris Anna Tiffany Gere, a homemaker and quilter, and Homer George Gere, an insurance salesman who later became a devoted volunteer fire chief. Raised near Syracuse, New York, Richard grew up in a modest home filled with the sounds of jazz and big band records. As a child, he practiced trumpet, dabbled on a piano salvaged by his mother, and embraced gymnastics, winning a state medal for his skill on the rings. His early mastery of movement and music hinted at the cinematic presence he would bring to screens years later. Have you ever faced a moment where passion pulled you away from the path everyone else expected you to follow? Share your story in the comments. And if you're enjoying this journey into Gere's life, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more inspiring profiles. After earning a gymnastics scholarship to the University of Massachusetts Amherst in 1967, Richard soon found his calling elsewhere. Enamored by philosophy and the arts, he left college and hitchhiked across the country, joining an experimental repertory troupe in Seattle. It was not an easy decision. He was young, broke, and unsure where his talents would take him. For a time, he slept on church floors, survived on odd jobs, and doubted whether he had made a mistake. But in those uncertain days, he discovered a deeper resilience. Immersed in every aspect of stagecraft, from lighting cues to set carpentry, he built a foundation for a career that would thrive on curiosity and craft. His break came in the early 1970s with the rock musical Grease in London and Hair on Broadway. Gere's natural magnetism and disciplined stillness made him a standout. His parents remained steadfast supporters through the lean years, offering emotional lifelines when money and momentum ran low. There were countless auditions where he was told he wasn't leading man material. At times, he considered giving up, weighed down by the rejection and the shadow of doubt. Yet their unwavering belief gave him fuel. When Doris passed away in 2016 and Homer in 2023, Richard honored them not with public fanfare, but with stories, prayers, and the quiet grace they had taught him. Their values, humility, community, service, became Richard's compass, visible in both his career and his activism. Gere's rise was meteoric once Hollywood noticed his intense, stage-honed energy. Looking for Mr. Goodbar, 1977, and Days of Heaven, 1978, set the stage, but it was American Gigolo, 1980, that catapulted him into icon status. As Julian Kay, he redefined masculine cool, sensual, introspective, impeccably tailored. But with fame came pressure, constant media scrutiny, expectations to conform, and the internal struggle to stay grounded amid celebrity. 2 years later, An Officer and a Gentleman, 1982, proved he could anchor blockbusters with heart, earning him a Golden Globe nomination and navigating the weight of sudden global recognition. Rather than be typecast, Gere deliberately chose a path less predictable. From The Cotton Club, 1984, to Primal Fear, 1996, and The Jackal, 1997, he sought roles rich in moral ambiguity and emotional depth. Some projects faltered, and critics weren't always kind. Gere shouldered the sting of box office disappointments and creative disagreements, but he kept pushing, never letting one chapter define him. His turn in Pretty Woman, 1990, opposite Julia Roberts, became a cultural milestone, transforming a dark drama into a global romantic sensation. Gere's improvisation, warmth, and wit turned Edward Lewis into a modern Prince Charming. But behind the charm was a man constantly learning how to balance art with authenticity. His boldest transformation came in Chicago, 2002, where he stunned audiences as slick lawyer Billy Flynn. Months of dance and vocal training pushed his body and voice in ways it had never been tested. He trained through injuries, vocal strain, and fatigue, determined to earn the respect of the musical theater world. The effort paid off with a Golden Globe and an Oscar-winning ensemble. Later roles in Arbitrage, 2012, and Time Out of Mind, 2014, showcased his depth, portraying powerful yet broken men with raw vulnerability. In recent years, Gere reunited with director Paul Schrader for O Canada, 2024, a meditative reflection on legacy. That same year, he began filming The Agency, a high-octane spy thriller praised for blending prestige cinema with streaming appeal. Each role has demanded more from him, emotionally, physically, spiritually. The Spanish Film Academy honored him in early 2025 with the International Goya Award, acknowledging a career defined by artistry and integrity. Away from the spotlight, Gere practices a life of mindfulness and compassion. Influenced by Buddhism, he adopted a plant-based diet in his 20s, prioritizing meditation and yoga. Even after a health scare in 2023, hospitalized briefly for pneumonia during a family trip, he credited his resilience to meditation and breathing techniques like 4-7-8 for sleep. It was a reminder that even the healthiest habits can't shield us from life's unpredictability. He supports mobile health clinics in Nepal and trauma care for Tibetan refugees, embodying the principle that wellness is a shared responsibility. His personal life has weathered both joy and turbulence. His marriage to Cindy Crawford, 1991 to 1995, ended amid media frenzy, while his union with Carrie Lowell produced a son, Homer James Jigme Gere, but dissolved in a lengthy legal battle. Gere later admitted the emotional cost of those separations and the toll it took on his mental clarity. In 2018, he found renewed peace with Alejandra Silva, a publicist and activist. Together, they raised 2 sons and split their time between New York and Spain, where their work continues on a documentary about Tibetan refugees and the Hogar Sea initiative to end homelessness. Loss has shaped Gere profoundly, from the death of his mentor, Geishi Wang, in 2020 to quiet acts of support for grieving friends. Yet, he meets sorrow with ritual, a candle, a quilt, a handwritten letter. Grief, he once said, is not a hole to fill, but a room to redecorate. And that room, much like his legacy, is filled with symbols of purpose and love. In that room are reminders of his journey, the sonorous echo of a trumpet, the rustle of a theater script, the stillness of zazen meditation. Richard Gere in 2025 remains an actor of rare duality, luminary and monk, heartthrob and humanitarian, whose legacy endures in both box office gold and boundless compassion. What part of Richard Gere's story speaks most to you? Let us know in the comments. And if you've been inspired by his journey through art, adversity, and activism, share this piece with someone who needs a reminder of the power of perseverance.